Good morning, dear students. Let us begin our class. See, whatever I am saying here, try to write down the very important points, or whatever I am writing on the board, you copy in your notebook, right? Here, 10th class biology textbook, altogether it contains 10 units. All these units are related to our body. It is entirely different from 9th class. So, let us start the first chapter, that is nutrition. First unit is nutrition. Nutrition, food supplying system. For all the organisms on this earth, they need food for the growth, for their survival. Food is the very important one for the survival of the living organisms, from microorganisms to the multicellular bodies. If we see the single organisms like amoeba, they take the food, and even the multicellular organism like the human body, we too needed food. We need food for our growth. The mode of acquiring food also varies from organism to organism. Even within the body varies from cell to cell. In previous class, you have studied how different organisms get their food. Try to recall that, and before we are going to the next step, I would like to ask you, what are heterotrophs and what are autotrophs? What are heterotrophs? The organisms which depend on the other organisms for food. They are called as heterotrophs. And what are autotrophs? Autotrophs are the organisms which prepare their own food. See, on this entire planet, only plants are the autotrophs. Plants prepare their own food. Along with these plants, some photosynthetic bacteria also prepare or synthesize the food. Now, let us start this autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition. We know already, I said, plants are the autotrophs and they have the capacity to prepare the food by using sunlight. They use sunlight as the energy to synthesize chemical compounds. They acquire nutrients like some minerals and water from the soil and some gases from the air. So, plants are the autotrophs which prepare the food material by using gas from the air and water and minerals from the soil, and they use sunlight as the source of energy. So, plants are the organisms which are capable of producing the complex food materials like carbohydrates, proteins and lipids. Plants are capable of producing the complex molecules like carbohydrates, proteins and lipids. How they are preparing? They are preparing these complex molecules from the simple substances like air, water and minerals in the presence of sunlight. Okay, in the presence of sunlight. Plants are the autotrophic organisms which are capable of producing the complex substances by using the simple substances. Whatever we eat, whatever the food item it is, we are getting from the plants, even animals, including human beings. All the organisms are depending on the plants to get the energy. Scientists have been working for centuries to find out how plants are carrying out these life process. See, so many life processes are there in our body, like digestion, respiration, nutrition, excretion, reproduction. Like that, plants are also following the life process, the basic, very important life process, which is called as nutrition. And these scientists, they have the doubt how that process is happening in the plants. We know that among all the life processes, photosynthesis makes the plants the universal food provider for all the living organisms. So, plants are the universal food providers. Everyone have to note down this point. Plants are the universal food providers. How they become these universal food providers? By the process of photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the basic life process, how the plants are preparing the food material. First of all, one scientist, Van Helmont, along with some other scientists, they believed that plants get their food material not only from the soil but also from other sources. Here, Van Helmont. Van Helmont and other scientists, what they believed? Plants are getting food material not only from the soil and there are other sources. Later, let me know what is this photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Plants are preparing the food material by the process which is called photosynthesis. Photo means light. Synthesis means preparing. Plants are preparing the food material by using light. So this process is called photosynthesis. Okay, how this photosynthesis is going on in the plants? What is there in the plant? How they are preparing? First of all, if we see plants which contain so many leaves, they are green in color. And this green color is because of the presence of a green color pigment which is called chlorophyll. So, chlorophyll is the green color pigment and it is the simple inorganic molecule using the sunlight as the source of energy to produce the complex food material. By using this light, preparing the complex material, in between there are several intermediary compounds. Intermediary compounds are formed in between by using the inorganic substances, preparing the complex food material. In between several steps are there. And Scientists, to show this one, they tried to formulate a simple equation for photosynthesis over past 200 years. That equation was accepted by all other scientists, and this formula was proposed by C.B. Van Neel. C.B. Van Neel formulated for photosynthesis. Equation for photosynthesis. C.B. Van Neel formulated equation for photosynthesis, and this equation was accepted by all other scientists, and this is in the year 1931. So students, all you have to note down these points. These should be in your notebook. C.B. Van Neel, before that Van Helmont. Now the second scientist, C.B. Van Neel, who formulated equation for photosynthesis in the year 1931. Let us see this equation. Carbon dioxide plus water gives CH2O plus H2O plus oxygen, that is in the presence of light in the chlorophyll. Here, by using these simple inorganic substances, plants are preparing the glucose. But glucose is C6H12O6. First of all, C.B. Van Neel formulated this equation. This Van Neel, first he worked on purple sulfur bacteria and found light plays a specific role in photosynthesis. Instead of water, they used hydrogen sulfide as the starting material. Here, no oxygen is liberated during photosynthesis. Instead, element sulfur is evolved. Later, the same similar process, photosynthesis in plants, is proposed the above mentioned equation. Later, Robert Hill showed oxygen is released from water, and then he modified this equation, and we can see balance in the equation. So, C.B. Van Neel equation was modified by Robert Hill. Robert Hill equation, let me see. This is the equation for photosynthesis. 6CO2 plus 12H2O gives C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. This is in the presence of light in the chlorophyll. So this is overall equation for photosynthesis, and we can see this equation is in balanced state, which was modified by Robert Hill. Okay, so this equation you will get in the exam for 1 mark. What is the equation for photosynthesis? 6CO2 plus 12H2O gives C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. This oxygen, it escapes into the air, so we have to keep arrow up, and this will take place in the presence of light in the chlorophyll. What is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is nothing but the green color pigment which present in the leaves. So, plants are preparing the food material by using the simple inorganic substances and preparing the complex organic material substance like glucose. C6H12O6 is glucose. At that time, oxygen will release and water also release. Plants are utilizing carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen. That you have to keep in mind. Okay, so plants are preparing glucose. Glucose, not only glucose, proteins and lipids, that means fats are also produced. So, all the plants are autotrophs. So, plants are autotrophs. No other organism is autotroph on this earth. On this entire planet, plants are preparing the food material and supplying to other organisms. So, no doubt in that plants are the autotrophs. No animal will prepare the food material. We depend on these autotrophs. So, animals, including human beings, we comes under heterotrophs. Okay, plants are the autotrophs and animals are heterotrophs because they cannot synthesize the complex food material like carbohydrates. Okay, so how these plants are preparing these carbohydrates? I told glucose is preparing. The preparation or synthesizing glucose. How can we say that that is glucose or carbohydrate? So in science, for everything we have to do experiment activity. Tomorrow, next class, how the presence of starch or carbohydrates in the plants, we have to do one activity that I will say in the next class. Thank you. Students, in today's class, we have learned that plants are preparing glucose. Don't get confused. Glucose is nothing but a carbohydrate and it is also called as starch. Understand? Plants are preparing glucose. Glucose is nothing but a carbohydrate and it is also called as starch. Preparing this carbohydrate, plants are converting it into starch and storing in its body. So, we have to see the presence of starch. Next class, we will continue. Thank you.